This is about the fourth time I've tried to make this, so please, just bear with me. Ooh, oh shit. The reason I'm here is because I'm going to do a bit of street photography with this. It's the Helios 44-2. It's an old Soviet lens. Oh, I f***ed that up, didn't I? I haven't come here just to hang out. I have in fact come here to do some street photography, which I haven't done in quite a long time. If I recall, I think there's one down that road. Let me just have a look for you.
Thank you. My phone's about to die.
Oh, goodness me.
I'm so scared. Thank you so much.
No worries. Who said I hate people? Alright, sit rep. There are a couple of issues with my plan. First of all, trying to use this and record on a gimbal at the same time requires me to have about 3.5 hands. Secondly, I need to pick a time to come back that is not A, a Saturday, B, Christmas, or C, a big protest day. If you're looking for a bit of a challenge and an inexpensive bit of kit, this is an absolute gem. That was really shit. It seems as though every camera manufacturer these days is advertising their products through the medium of frames per second for still images. In fact, a lot of the newer mirrorless bodies aren't even being manufactured with mechanical shutters anymore, so as you can imagine, all the YouTube third-party advertisers are lapping that shit up with, oh, there's 120 frames per second for stills. Who needs that? I don't know, but it's a feature and we've been paid to advertise it, so don't complain, just watch and consume. Now, I've done a lot of work as a sports photographer. I understand perfectly well that there are niches and applications where that might be a useful feature. Might. If you spray and pray, yes, in amongst those 120 photos you took over the course of a second, you might have one that's worth keeping. Maybe. If, however, you have ever shot or watched someone shoot something where image quality actually matters, you'll know those folks probably won't even shoot 120 frames in an entire day. And it's because decent image quality isn't found by spraying, praying, and then sifting through
billions and billions and billions and billions and billions and billions
of very similar looking images to try and find the one that's the least worst. The image is carefully curated and crafted, and every little detail is scrutinized, and only when it's absolutely perfect does the shutter get fired. All of that is a very long-winded way to introduce you to this, the Helios 44-2, which is an old Soviet lens which normally comes attached to a Zenit film camera. Here's one I found earlier. Just a quick aside, listen to some of the noises this thing makes. Christ almighty. In terms of specs and pixel peeping, the image quality of this isn't actually very good. It's not very sharp, it's very hazy, especially when there's a direct light source, and I think this one's actually got some mold growing on the inside thanks to good old Soviet production standards, which, let's say they varied, to put it lightly. Despite that, I keep more images shot with this than any other lens I've ever owned, and the reason for that is because it makes you slow way the f*** down. This is a manual focus lens. The aperture is controlled with this ring on the front, so you cannot just have a fast subject whip by in front of you and then get this out and spray and pray. Shooting with this is a slow, deliberate process. So slow, in fact, that sometimes you decide, you know what, this shot isn't even any good. You shoot a far smaller number of total images, but you end up keeping a greater proportion of them because you've made a conscious decision to shoot each and every single one, instead of firing off 360 frames over the course of 3 seconds and trying to find the least worst. The point I'm trying to make here is that if you want to improve the creative decisions that you make, you need to slow down and be more deliberate in making those decisions. And this applies to photos, video, interpretive dance, the whole lot. Like, I'd never film an entire video in slow-mo just in case I wanted to slow it down later. If I'm gonna have slow-mo in a video, it's because I've made a conscious decision ahead of time that this shot is going to be in slow-mo. Don't just whip out the camera and spray at max FPS and see what you get. Take time to consider what you're shooting. Is it worth shooting? Is this the best angle for it? Is the lighting any good? Just take a few seconds to think about that stuff and you'll be a lot happier with the images you take. Considering that this is an admittedly disorganized ramble, if you made it to the end of this, you're a true champ and I love you very much. That's all for now. See you next Tuesday. Oh, that was almost perfect. Before it started rolling back.